That's the same. Yeah, that's the same trade agreement. The same trade agreement that they negotiated before, that they said, oh, now it's super brilliant. That's the same one that in the second term now is f***ing up. Right? When he supported TikTok, he wanted TikTok to say Donald did it. The moment, you understand?
Yeah.
Like the moment he agreed with Mexico, he immediately went to Twitter and all the platforms to say, we have agreed to X billion, 10 billion. The honest truth is that
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah, but the fact that they said they're only pausing the threat of the tariffs for 25 days makes it clear that those things are not fully sorted out yet. But it helps to come up with this news of I have succeeded, even though it's not completely solidified yet. So one of the ways to deal with that is remain calm when he makes his request. You don't even have to think it's crazy, right? Because it's the game. The game is the game. When he makes his request, you have to do your analysis. What's your worst case scenario? I.e., if it follows through, how do we respond? But how do we also find win-wins here and there? And some of the easiest win to give Donald Trump is a media release that he has succeeded. A big example of this was, so the initial trade agreement that they have was called the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA. Donald Trump in his last tenure came and said NAFTA is shit, we have to renegotiate it. They started renegotiating. They arrived at the same point that they were when it was NAFTA, but they gave the win to Donald to say, but we can change the name. We don't have to call it NAFTA anymore. And then they suddenly started calling it USMCA. And for Donald Trump, big win. That's the same, that's the same trade agreement. The same trade agreement that they negotiated before, that they said, oh, now it's super brilliant. That's the same one that in the second term now is f***ing up. So you see the point. So even the promises that Canada and Mexico made so far, they probably don't have a clear roadmap on how they will achieve it. Even if they provide a clear roadmap, they might not implement any of those things. But at least it's out there in the media that he has succeeded. And for Donald, this is one of the smaller wins that you can give him to arrive at some good point with your negotiation. Because yes, it will come with the crazy anchors, and then you see where you go from there. Interesting news before we go into the Elon Musk story and all that stuff. China.
It's China.
Yes.
China.
His war against China is continuing as expected. And one of the things that they've done for now is that USPS have stopped services, importation services from China. So USPS it's the American postal system run by the government. It's running on a loss because it helps goods move from one place to the other, so they don't mind. What they're saying now is, well, if you're importing from China, USPS is not possible anymore. And this is supposed to have effect on the prices that Chinese companies can offer in the US, because you don't have USPS, the cheapest one, anymore. And that it will then in turn impact the Chinese economy. What are your thoughts about this?
I mean, I feel like the way to make America great again is not by suppressing other countries. I think that has been Donald's strategy so far as I know. You can't necessarily make other people small just to be big. You just have to become bigger. And I think this is just another, if we cut you off on this and that, then it will mean a plus for us. I don't think Justin Trudeau said that the best, like in his press release, right, that the best way is for Canada and America to work together, right? And I think that has to be the way. Any other way is just, it won't work. It's like the AI war with the US too. They came out with DeepSeek and all. Like, you can't really find a way to collaborate and still stay on top.
I agree with you that, in the optimal world, win-wins and much more positive negotiation, is the way to go. But it seems like President Donald Trump is not willing to go in that route, because for some reason, it's not just the idea of make America great again. I think Donald wants to put the fear of America in every person's mind. Like, he doesn't want the idea that, oh, now we are partnering with other countries as peers. Like, for him, he does not see why the EU would even speak to the US as if they are mates. Like, if I'm funding all these things that make you feel good, you know what I mean? Don't come to me and be discussing as if you're discussing to your mate. I'm your daddy. I feel like that's what Donald wants to achieve. Whether it's good or bad, I can't even say, because at the end, if you work so hard to get to a point, I feel like all the American president, whether Democratic, whether from the Democrat Party or Republican, they, at least in the background, still feel like US is the major authority. That's why they call the president of the US the president of the world.
Yeah.
What Donald Trump is doing now is just saying, I'm not hiding it anymore. I'm not doing it in the background anymore.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Let our people know as well.
Yeah, but my point is, you can't, not with China. You can definitely do that with maybe over 100 countries in the world, for sure. But I feel like with China, with Russia, probably even India, like maybe not Canada. Yeah, like just Russia. I'll stick to just Russia and Canada, right? Well, and China. So yeah, it's. I think it needs a different game when it comes to China.
It definitely needs a different game. The moment the USPS thing came along, I was thinking, how will China react to this? And immediately I thought, wait, you're only banning imports from China and Hong Kong. But if I'm a Chinese company that also have somewhere in Thailand or somewhere in Indonesia, will you accept my importation from their USPS? No problem. Do you know what I mean? And that's why you see certain things that's happening under Donald. It looks like big news, but they are not making, some of them are not making that much effect or impact because it's not changing much. It's just loud, you know?